In 1984, I left my home in Oregon and drove 2,700 kilometers up the Alaska-Canadian highway in search of adventure. I wanted to see the far north, the mountains, the animals, and the wilderness. Alaska's Denali National Park is over 24,000 square kilometers of wilderness and has only one 145-kilometer-long road. It's in the vast shadow of North America's largest peak, 6,196-meter Mount McKinley. I was an expert backpacker with 12 years of experience. I convinced a friend to fly to Alaska and join me. I was 26 years old. We had 3 days of happy hiking on our own. The fourth day, we thought we hadn't been hiking as fast as we should because we hadn't found the canyon we needed to take us back to the park road. By the sixth day, I couldn't figure out my compass, the topography of my map, and in a moment of frustration and anger, I lost the compass. By the eighth day, the weather turned cold. We had seen a couple of grizzly bears, and they were very close. We put up the tent, got inside to warm up and assess our situation. My compass was gone. My friend hadn't brought one. The map that had gotten us from the backcountry hiker's desk at park headquarters was from the original 1946 survey and useless, as many streams had either dried up or changed course. The best thing to do was to abandon our assumptions that we knew where we were. We needed to reverse direction. We needed to pack up the tent and backpack to a familiar place. We needed to find our way to the only road in the 24,000 square kilometers of Alaskan wilderness. 2 days later, we came around a bend in a canyon and saw the park road. We flagged down an off-duty park ranger, and he took us to park headquarters. We ate, we showered, we told our story to important officials of the National Park Service. We watched the first flakes of a 1 1/2 meter snowstorm start to fall. I learned that sometimes one needs to backtrack to find the way. I learned that relying on old, worn-out tools leads to unfortunate outcomes. And I learned that when faced with life or death, I can make the hard, uncomfortable, and inconvenient choices, and I could survive. My name is Diane Martin, and that is my story. But the rest of the story is about life or death of something much bigger. Business as usual is a broken paradigm. The current paradigm is built on the faulty premise, born in the Industrial Revolution, the fetishized economy that ignores scientific fact. The Earth's natural resources are not limitless. In many cases, they're in very short supply. Waste never truly goes away, and it's seldom harmless. For the first time in human history, human use and pollution of fresh water has reached a level where water scarcity will potentially limit food production and ecosystem functions for urban supplies. The potential consequences of climate change include food and water shortages, population shifts, and economic losses. These, in turn, increase the range of risks to human security, including the risk of deadly conflict. There are many economic reasons for business to pursue environmental and social sustainability. In the end, they all come down to long-term competitive advantage, and together they make the business case. A major source of competitive advantage is having cost advantages over your rivals. Conserving energy and reducing waste can reduce costs. Firms can convert waste into revenue streams and turn cost into earnings. It turns out that innovation blossoms when people are forced to be creative and find creative solutions to constraining problems. Becoming more sustainable is a catalyst for innovation, wealth creation, and new market opportunities. Environmental and economic costs of extraction are going up, and many sources are increasingly volatile. Companies who choose to develop products from recycled resources can avoid these costs and, in the same time, protect their supply chain. The ability to attract and retain talented workers is easier for businesses that are actively working to become sustainable. An authentic market position of sustainability is based on meaningful differentiation and can produce payoffs of customer loyalty and expanded markets through new market segments. And finally, new environmental regulations and standards can certainly be on the horizon, and companies that have to play catch-up are at a disadvantage from those who don't. So sustainable marketing is important, and it has two objectives with respect to the environment and social sustainability. The first is that it means marketing in a sustainable manner, such that all marketing processes are environmentally and socially benign. Second, it means marketing sustainably as a concept, as a cultural value, and a set of practices. It functions to help bring about a society in which striving for sustainability is the norm. To that end, John Scouten and I wrote a book. We reconceptualized the marketing discipline. We answered the question, how can marketing be part of the solution rather than part of the problem? Natural capital is the basis of everything that humans value. Without a healthy biosphere and an adequate supply of natural capital, such as ecosystem services, economies can't function and people can't thrive. Human capital is the basis of markets, of workforce, and in fact of all human well-being. Healthy, well-fed, educated people buy and use products and services, and they're likely to function and collaborate in a civil society. Consumer researchers need to do a better job of understanding well-being, and markets need to do a better job of promoting and facilitating it. In many cases, the answer to sustainability doesn't lie so much in consuming less, but rather in consuming differently. Service-dominant logic reminds us that what we consume is the benefit or the service that the product provides, not necessarily the ownership, storage, maintenance, and disposal obligations that come from owning. Cradle-to-cradle design ensures that what material is used also gets reused in ways that keep it out of landfills and eliminate the need for resource extraction and virgin production. Distribution and logistics offer obvious ways to create sustainability. It begins with increased efficiencies and moves towards systems that are carbon neutral and even restorative to the environment, such as living buildings and generate more power, which generate more power than they consume in terms of water and energy. Value circles are formed when consumers are integrated back into the channels of distribution and become suppliers, turning consumer waste into resources. Sustainable pricing is like traditional pricing. It's strategic and sensitive to the needs of segmented markets. Growing segments of society are demonstrating the willingness to pay more for products that fit their values. For those who can't or won't pay more, marketers need to find a way to make sustainability affordable. The key to sustainable communication is to establish and tell a compelling brand story. One challenge is remaining trustworthy in an age of greenwashing and other deceptive marketing practices. One way companies can establish this trust is through third-party certifications. Here's a current research project to demonstrate sustainable marketing. Motorcycle racing may be one of the most inherently unsustainable sports. However, electric motorcycles offer the hedonics of participation in an environmentally friendly fashion. For example, MotoSys, who built this motorcycle, innovated hot swappable batteries. These batteries can be replaced without having to recharge the vehicle, thereby solving the vehicle range problem that has vexed the market for some time. And these bikes are fast, capable of over 160 kilometers average lap times at the Isle of Man TT motorcycle race. Moto-Sizz bikes are arguably the most aerodynamic road racing motorcycles built now, and they weigh 20% less than similarly sized bikes. Most sustainability research focuses on the gap between sustainable attitudes and behavior, or the panacea of corporate social responsibility programs, or anti-consumption ideologies. We take a different approach. Rather than offering another look at the broken business paradigm or self-sacrifice as an identity project, we examine how pleasure affects sustainable consumption practices. So here's the question. Does marketing matter? I think yes. It's a matter of life or death. Thank you.